Hi guys, my name is Rodney. Welcome to Games Master Toolbox. I want to talk about community for a second. So I just want to go on the record for saying that, you know, like people who say, like Swamper, Aknod, Disemboweled, Main Man, all those people who say that role-playing game, you know, like getting into character is the best part of role-playing games. I agree with them. I also agree when they say that when they say if you're not doing that, why play a role-playing game? I understand that, and I agree with it. But what I don't agree with, and this is mostly Main Man, and sometimes Disemboweled does this too, is when they say these people are destroying the hobby, these people are trashed. I think that hurts the hobby more. I think that divides the community more than anything else. When I did that video, the YouTube RPG Brigade is not a community. It's because I felt that attitude was dividing it. Dividing the community. I felt that a lot of guys didn't understand and this is the reason why I'm making the Aesthetics of Fun video. It's like different people have different reasons to get into role-playing games, and you may not like it, you may not enjoy it, but it's there, you know. So yeah, I get mad when they get called trash, you know, but these people are people, you know. So yeah, you know, we can talk about immersion all day long. We can talk about getting into character, the fantasy aesthetic. We can talk about the discovery aesthetic all day long. We could talk about that. But understand there are people who are just into expressing themselves through numbers, or not even expressing themselves through number. All they care about is the challenge aesthetic. Game as obstacle course. And let's face it, Dungeons and Dragons, I used to look down upon Dungeons and Dragons, but Dungeons and Dragons pushes the challenge aesthetic. Obstacle course is in their title, the dungeon. In the end of the day, the dungeon is an obstacle course. And although I do realize it's not that, you know, because I did buy 3rd edition. Eventually I bought 3rd edition. Eventually I bought 4th edition. And I did buy 5th edition. And I didn't buy Pathfinder because I just felt it was just more 3rd edition. But I know those games can be more. I know Dungeons and Dragons can be more than just an obstacle course. You know. You got games like Werewolf the Apocalypse. For me, I felt, when I was looking down upon Dungeons and Dragons, I felt Werewolf the Apocalypse is a role-playing game. All that. Dungeons and Dragons is for the hack and slashers, for the video game players, you know, who like to play side scrollers. Because you had the White Wolf games, and when you open them up, they had all this. Right away, you have all this world building going on, this culture, discovery, the narrative, the narrative aesthetic, the discovery aesthetic. Built right there, helping you to create your character so you can express yourself in that game. So I always felt that it was, way better. The real Papo. I always felt that it was way better. I thought this is a role-playing game, and D&D that's just a board game without the board. But that's not true, because you make the game what you want. So yeah, that's I think that's really that's the whole point of why I'm doing the aesthetics video. Just to show you that what people are looking into, what they get out of it. I already said that. I want to give you an example of some of the what you can get immersed in when you're role playing, because it's not just a fantasy aspect that you can get immersed in. And it happened in a game in Traveler, and Sean Driscoll was running the game. A few people were there. I remember Samuel G was there, Andre Martinez was there, a friend of mine, Charlie Lloyd, and Aaron and Sock. And there was two things that broke my immersion, because I was in different aesthetics at the time. Those were two different types of aesthetics. One was when the players were PvPing each other. They were about to kill each other. And then they stopped. And then they stopped because they realized they're going to kill each other. Hurt feelings are going to happen. Because one was trying, one was pushing one objective over the other. And things got a little bit violent because their characters they were playing were extreme and they were asshole-ish. They were deeply into the fantasy aspect of it, aesthetic, or what most role players would call immersion. And when they stopped, that broke my immersion. Now that I think about it, the immersion that it broke was narrative, because my character was in the cockpit. I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't do anything about it. I was in the cockpit, and it broke the narrative aspect, because I was enjoying what was happening, and then all of a sudden they did that, and it was like, that's not logical, that doesn't make sense, so that's the narrative they broke. Then another narrative that got broken was, I think it was a bit of lore. I'm mostly thinking that it was a bit of lore, and it might happen twice. It might have been a bit of lore and maybe a rules question. It wasn't even the rules questions, like how long it would take to get to this area or whatever. And Sean looked up in the book. he looked it up in the book. He had to stop and look in the book, and it was like I remember Andre saying, "Did you just ruin our immersion by looking it up in the rule book?" Yeah. To Sean's defense, he was kind of jumped into that game, He was a little bit jumped, and he was very rusty. He didn't know the game system, so he hasn't played in such a long time. But he was jumped. All of a sudden, he was playing. When I came in, it was the second day, and I know from the second day they just kind of jumped him and told him, "Here, you run a Traveler game. You're running it today." I mean, he wasn't prepared for the narrative aspect, that's for sure. Even in the second day, like, he was cobbling together a narrative for that. Still, and obviously he improved because Samuel G kept on playing with him, and he was enjoying it. So, I know at least Samuel G. I don't know about the others. Me, I just couldn't play because I always have internet issues and timing issues. There's always some sort of issue there. And I just wanted to show you that the immersion can come in different types of aesthetics and different types of fun. They call it. Angry DM calls it the types of fun, and the MDA, I forgot, dynamics and aesthetics. The DNA is dynamics and aesthetics. Look it up. The MDA. Actually, you can find it on the Angry DM in my first video on the aesthetics of fun playlist. There's an article, and you can find the Angry DM's article, which is part 1. You have to look for part 2. And you can find the MDA as well. And that MDA comes from video game designers. But then Angry DM looks at it from a role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game perspective. And so yeah, that's it, man. I mean, when I did that video, the YouTube RPG Brigade is not a community. I noticed that attitude hurts us more than anything else. We'll become elitists, and we won't even try to teach these people to role play. But we don't have to try. We don't even have to try to teach them. We can try to meet in the middle ground. I mean, like, if I have a role, I always pride myself in trying to be a little bit more flexible. in my GMing style. So, and I tell my players who like to really get into character, listen, guys, these guys are new, so or they just really into the challenge aesthetic. So, yeah, I'm going to play up on the social combat rules, or I'll make some social combat rules, and it's kind of like a bait and switch that I try to do. And where, yeah, you know, you guys, listen, there's modifiers to be had if you look for the right information, you know, because that's what they're looking for. They're always looking for the modifier. So if you find the right information, I can give you like a +2 or +5 modifier to help you in the next thing, but in the next thing that you're going to say. But you have to say it correctly, because if you don't say it properly, then either I might give you a negative, or you fail automatically, or if you do it really good, I can give you a modifier. If you do it really bad, I'll just automatically fail. So I let them try to do that. So it's kind of like a stick and carrot with a bait and switch. Well, actually, it's just bait and switch, you know. But the people on the table who are into fantasy, they're gonna have to learn, you know, that's, you know, they have to, you know, put up with that. Because some people who are so deeply into the fantasy aesthetic don't even want that. They're like, dude, they gotta learn somehow. Relax, you know. So yeah, you know, there's certain things I agree with, and so certain things I disagree with. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that and take care. I'll see you in the next video. But if I wrote this down, it probably would have taken 2 minutes. Take care.